Welcome to Two Nerds and an Actor. We are the entertainment podcast for the nerd adjacent to the nerd aficionado. We help you answer the burning question, what should I watch? And what the hell did I just watch? This is
definitely the emphasis on what the hell.
On what
episode.
the hell.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Season 4, episode 7. I'm here with my nerd emulators.
Oh.
Mike Santana.
I'm already named after an emulation simulation Slim, so
Ooh.
I'll just revert and I'll just be Dark Sim.
Okay. France Jerome.
Super Nintendo. I got nothing.
Sega Genesis. Superintendent Chalmers.
And I'm your master, Aisha Jordan, host. We have a pretty good show for y'all today. We're going to be hitting some nerdy leaks on Batwoman, hashtag who's next, movies we'll see when we reopen, Snyder cut, question marks, the movie Capone, and enlightenment with Midnight Gospel. I had this one thing I want to say. I said, it's 9 o'clock. Do you know where your nerds are? Okay, let's get started. We have our first topic in Nerdy Leaks, which just broke today, I believe, or maybe we're all just finding it out today. That Ruby Rose has walked away from Batwoman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, good for her.
Every rose has its thorns.
Oh my goodness. We decided to put on the pilot episode just cause I'm like, yo, we always talk about this it's not gonna be good. Da, da, da. Then we never actually watched it. It confirms it's not good.
You don't have to see a train wreck to know. Anyway.
Just gotta predict the physics of it. You're like, definitely gonna crash here.
Or I'll randomly requote myself at some random point saying, you can't put wheels on a dead horse.
Oh my God.
Wait, you can, and it'll look like something out of Midnight Gospel, but we're not there yet.
But we're not there yet.
Listen, Ruby Rose leaving the C-dub. I'm trying to give it the weight that it deserves.
Yeah, what is that?
Remember when Don Cheadle replaced
Oh yeah.
Oscar nominated?
Sorry.
Wait, he is Oscar nominated, right?
Yeah.
Maine?
I think did he win? I think he won for that. Hustle and Flow?
Yeah, all right. So Oscar winner.
I think he won.
Fine. Oscar winner Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
When they replaced him,
he can't
when
live
they
with
replaced him, did we notice? Yes.
Sure.
But did anyone care?
Oh no, absolutely not.
No. So
I was like,
Ruby
that
Rose, Ruby Rose leaving. It's like, thanks for playing.
Right.
You know, it's honestly.
You reminded me of the Ball versus Capcom. Thanks for playing.
It is because it's also
they got a quarter of my ass in terms of how much I care.
Yeah.
At this point,
because it gives them a good chance for the CW to make a really extremely corny, terrible joke about her looking different because they've hired a different actor. It's this perfect time for them to do that in the script.
But the thing about it is, her character is already wearing a red wig, you know, so and a
even
mask.
more. They're gonna make it even more corny.
No, I just mean are we really gonna notice? I don't know.
I'm sure that we are. They're gonna hire someone else, and we're gonna be
C-Dub is on his last legs.
We're not gonna notice, but it was a particularly special casting for the LGBTQ community. She ticked all of the boxes that CW needed to get another in. That's true. With another community.
That is true.
But watching this first episode at the same time, they have this whole scene where she's a cadet or something, whatever. She's in some sort of army training or police academy, and she's kissing her girlfriend after they've gone on the classic army run. Right. And it's oh, okay. She's in the army, and then they get caught kissing, and it's oh my God.
you're right.
Like
she checked all the marks, but then people got mad that she wasn't of a certain that she wasn't. Isn't the character Jewish? No, the character is not Jewish. What was there was another controversy with her casting, even though she like checked all the boxes. There was one that she didn't.
I can't remember what it was.
Or is it because
no. People started saying stupid
stuff.
Stuff.
She identifies herself as like gender fluid or whatever.
No, they said that she wasn't lesbian enough.
Right, exactly. Because she's not just lesbian. She's like bi or whatever. Yeah. She's like all of the things. So, right. That was so maybe thing. now they'll air quote get it right.
Lesbian. That's all we're taking.
Yeah. I'm of course we're being facetious with all this, but kind of accurate. That people were actually getting fucking upset that she wasn't just lesbian.
Right. Well, I mean, we'll see what even happens. It makes sense that she's leaving, and I'm not surprised. They're going to hire someone else who fits the CW mold, because that mold is real tight. And it'll be fine. Like, no one's going to care.
Yeah, I don't know how many more years the CW little superhero universe has to go. To be honest, everything is pretty much.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. So the thing that everyone is waiting for and everyone's looking at, not this change in cast, Hamilton. Whoa. Big surprise. It's coming straight to streaming on Disney Plus.
The OG
on
cast.
July 3rd.
July 3rd, which is like literally tomorrow. But then, the OG cast, which I'm like, I knew it was going to be the cast, the original cast, but I didn't know it was going to Disney Plus. So I'm a little confused because, like, how, Sway? Like, weren't they planning to make money?
I mean, they'll make money.
Oh, no.
How?
You don't think Disney paid a very pretty penny for that?
But I mean, how are they getting their money back? Like they're just
subscription.
They're just waiting for new people to subscribe.
They're probably gonna cut of the stream. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they should charge for it. Like if you were like, oh, to watch this on Disney Plus is $10.99, everybody would do that.
Disney should charge?
Shut up, Aisha.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I don't want to help. I don't want to help Disney. I'm just saying it seems like what?
No, listen. Do they charge? Does Netflix charge extra because we're front row on a Chappelle comedy fucking session? No.
Those people
that's a live
to be
performance.
There.
Yeah, they did. So I didn't have to.
Did people pay to be at this Hamilton?
This is not a new screening of it. It's just one of the tapings the original cast
Yeah,
did.
They just did a taping of the original cast. It's not like they shot Hamilton the movie.
They are shooting Hamilton the movie though. That's what I thought this was.
No,
that's not this. That's not this.
This is the staged performance of it.
I see. Exactly. Oh, never mind then. It'll be
also, Terrence Howard was nominated.
Oh, okay. He did not actually win.
Oh, thank you for clarifying that. I apologize for admonishing him as a actual winner.
No, he's grateful.
He's like, thank you.
He's grateful.
The stars and the cosmos have come down and told him that in his mind, he actually won.
Are we questioning the nature of our reality, Aisha?
Yeah, I mean, he may be questioning it for us, so sure.
Just stop, please. Please stop.
Okay. Back to the fact that Hamilton's having a stage thing. Okay.
I'm super hyped.
Yeah, well, now I'm like, this makes sense.
Do y'all have a favorite song? Have y'all listened to the soundtrack at least?
No.
I've never listened to even one song. And it's so funny because everyone's like, how did you avoid that? Like, everyone listens to it all the time. I'm like, where?
Yeah, there's a lot of good songs on there.
It's complicated. Yeah, I fucking hate musicals. I know that about you. I know this one is supposed to, break the mold.
I don't know if it breaks the mold.
I've seen musicals, but Hamilton was the first Broadway play I ever saw. So, like, talk about setting the fucking bar, right?
True.
Wow.
But I've seen musicals and I've seen, musical movies, whatever. Point is, I didn't notice that in terms of a theatrical production, it did anything different except for the fact that the cast was diverse and, on purpose, it unwhitewashed history in that sense. It had the hip hop influence in it as well. But it was more than just like what was on stage. Hamilton, just the fact that it existed, as Lin-Manuel wrote it, was the achievement. It made history accessible in a way to a group of people that otherwise would not have been interested in looking that deep into the whiteness of our history.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I was like, half the people they are portraying had slaves. That shit is awkward.
Yeah, but that's acknowledged. I
was like, I think that's part of it. I'm pretty sure.
It is. It is.
Yeah. He's questioning it like he's seen it, and he's like,
I know. I know, and he hasn't heard the song. I know. I'm
he's like, I'll be.
You know
what
it comes down. It's just, I'm sure it's going to be great, and that's,
it better fucking be.
And I'm gonna let it live as that. I just know I'm ready. I'm like have been born ready to see shows about other people, other things.
Like not American history. What do you?
It's not white history.
Oh, okay.
Like shit is everywhere, but. Right. This will obviously be a different take, more grounded.
Like something not real. About the forefathers. I get it.
Yes, what else?
Okay.
I'm excited.
I mean, I'm excited. Again, like I said, never seen any part of it. The only thing I am skeptical of is that everyone keeps calling it rap. I will be the judge of that.
No, I explicitly used the term hip hop. Okay. I did not use the term rap.
Did they point their fingers like this?
This is hip hop. I love his face right now is like thinking, kind of, maybe it did.
it hip hopifies history, but I mean, there's some rapping, but it's more so just rhyming.
Oh, you know what it does? It does
have rap battles though. There are DK rap battles in the story.
But you know what? It does that thing that every cool English or history teacher in every movie ever.
Yes.
That's what it is.
That's exactly what Hamilton is. Hamilton is catching Edward James Olmos like in his 30s. Before he was cutting apples. And it catches, Walter White.
I get it.
In his second year of teaching. When he was like, let me break this down to you, my guys.
And then he's like,
yeah, exactly. That's the title of the episode.
So it's like
now.
You got served. It's like stand and deliver, and you got served.
It's stand and get served.
Stand and get served. That may be the title of the episode.
Yes, that's what it is.
All right. Well, we'll all look forward to that. Obviously, right before
stand and get served your freedom.
Okay.
For the writers,
right before Independence Day.
Right.
The day
and
before.
Coolio plays Aaron Burr, so
perfect.
Signing up the declaration.
All right. So next piece of news. I actually found this when I was like, doing research because that's what we do, researching.
They can't see you moving your shoulders and like.
I did like the cool.
No, I love giving them the description of what you're doing with your shoulders when you get excited. People don't understand. If you want to know how excited Aisha is for anything, her tell is her shoulders. That's it. There you go.
It's true. Like, if my shoulders stay up real long, that means, I don't know. I'm not going to do that.
I don't know. Who all gonna be there?
But no, this next piece of news is really interesting. So it's been thrown around that Tenet, the Christopher Nolan movie that was slated to come out, is said to be the first movie that's going to come out in movie theaters when they reopen, which is very interesting. Because I think they're trying to plan for that as well. Like they're trying to plan, like, okay, we're going to be the first one. We're going to be the ones to do it.
Okay, they're trying to time it for when the quote unquote country opens.
Right.
They're the first thing. Okay.
Right. But what I read is that in order for them to do that, they're saying that 80% of theaters in the country have to be open.
Here in the States, that's funny because in Australia, they're already like dead set, and they're like, yes, that's going to be the first movie.
Oh,
that could be the first movie over there
in Australia.
I don't see that being the case here.
It's tough, yeah.
We'll see. Let me find out if Tenet gonna catch a New Mutants.
No, come on.
I don't know about all that.
Don't do that.
I don't know if we're gonna indefinitely
2035
keep changing the date.
17 times. No, I don't think that's gonna happen with Tenet, but Tenet.
Tenet?
right now, especially with us seeing a surge in cases in places where they opened to what many people believed is prematurely. Yeah, I don't know. Like New York is just getting to the point where we could even, where we're almost to the moment where we can start to consider beginning the process of taking step one in reopening. So it's like, we're not even there. We're a huge market, so I don't know.
It's true. But like all these places are trying to, like as much as we can't plan for the future in our own personal minds, these companies are like, what the fuck? I have to plan something. I have to figure this out.
Right. And meanwhile, there's this whole thing where Warner Brothers is going to like release Dark Knight in like some Asian markets. Like even though it was a big hit, so they just want to release it over there.
Re-release or something.
Yeah. So studios might be going there. They might be releasing the old hits,
right?
Just as the theaters start to softly, and slowly
Let's go
open
out
up.
to those places.
Yeah, you guys remember, and to just play a classic movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I did hear that Amazon and Netflix have decided to start filming in France. There's like some countries who are starting to open up again. And they're like trying to go there to do their filming.
So we broke last episode that Czech Republic is one of those places.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now we're talking about
France.
Gay Paris. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah, we will.
But, I mean, speaking of we'll see what happens, New Mutants, we may never see what happens.
We'll never see what happens.
So it's been pushed to what was the day? August 28th? Is that what was? Am I making that
I think
up?
that was the last.
That's the last push. Shift that I saw.
I highly doubt it. August 28th?
Yeah.
At this point, I figured they should just splice it up and put it with whatever the next big Avengers crossover is.
Put it at the same time?
Yep, it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. It's going to be like random cuts to an asylum. What's going on here?
You're saying it'd be like story inside of a story of another movie?
Oh, it should be like the Tales of the Black Freighter. It should just be this movie inside.
Wow. I was going to say, just make it the post-credit scene of like Black Widow. Fuck it.
He gave it even like the lower. He's like, some of the audience might not be there.
Make the entire movie a post-credit scene.
And the ending's like, bah, 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 bah. It's just the opening of
Yeah, you're like, wait, what the fuck?
Is this another movie?
They made it worse for me because, we actually got to see glimpses of one of my favorite X-Men, Magic, Ileana.
Is in the New Mutants?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
They showed that trailer, yeah.
They teased me and showed her like putting on her fucking armor and the soul sword and using the fucking discs. And I was like, oh my God, she looks so fucking cool. Even if the movie sucks, I've waited a long time to see that character in live action. So.
But honestly, I really think they should just let it go to streaming. How are you having like all these other things coming to streaming, but New Mutants has to come into theaters? It has to.
We all said it more than once.
I've been fucking saying that for almost 2 years.
Yeah, like just send it to Disney Plus so we can all move on with our lives. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine being the actors too? Like every 10 seconds, you're like, my movie's coming out. JK, it's not coming out yet.
How many times have they hosted these launch parties in their house? How many dresses has Maisie Williams had to try on for her red carpet debut as Wolfsbane?
Like, how many times?
This poor wolf girl.
Her agent calls. I'm sorry. I'm
sorry. It's been delayed again, Maisie. Maisie, I'm so sorry. And she's just chilling with Sophie Turner drunk.
He's like, whatever.
In a bathtub.
At this point, she's going to be like, if there's a premiere, I'm not coming.
Wait, Francis giving me a look like, what are you talking about with Sophie Turner? Dude, do you not follow their friendship?
No.
They're actual sisters now.
Yeah, they're constantly fucking high or drunk or together like sisters. And they do karaoke like.
Karaoke.
They do all types of fun shit all the time.
Aww, that is
maybe
so
less
cute.
so since Sophie got married, but
right.
They're like sisters.
She has to compete with a Jonas.
Man.
I still don't understand it. I don't get it.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm really actually bummed out about this New Mutants thing.
Aw.
It really brought it sucks that they pulled Dr. Celia Reyes into the mix.
Yeah, you were hype about that.
But they did get Alice Braga to play her, even though that's terribly miscast.
I like her.
No, I like Alice Braga, but can she be an Afro Puerto Rican mutant from the Bronx? I don't know.
Oh, that's awkward.
We almost kind of sort of got that.
Yeah, I was just Wolfsbane is actually one of my favorite characters as a kid. I really enjoyed that character, and it's like, and I was hyped to see Maisie Williams do the damn thing.
Yeah, and I love Chamber. I love fucking Cannonball as a character. Those weird, obscure mutants that growing up with X-Men in the 90s, like they weren't the preeminent characters, but I love those characters. Chamber and Cannonball, I like them. I remember having their action figures when I was a kid too. Like there were always like 50 Cannonballs in Toys R Us.
Yeah.
They had like one Cyclops and one Magneto and like 50 Cannonballs. I was very happy to have one because I liked that character. But
I know nothing at all. So I was just more excited to see like a pseudo horror film besides the other one we saw with the Superman, It was interesting. So I think it'll happen. I think it's going to come out, but I honestly think August 28th or next month is going to come and they're going to be like, JK, it's going to be on streaming in August.
I
really hope so.
I don't see why. I don't see how they lose, especially looking at some of the movies, how they've been performing supposedly well on streaming in people's houses. You have everybody in quarantine.
Everybody's here.
Yeah,
People will fucking want, a superhero movie? It's been 2 minutes. We haven't seen one.
Yeah.
Boom. They'll have everyone captive.
I think it's about pride. I think it really is about pride and about Disney.
For who?
For Disney.
They didn't make this movie.
That's the whole point. But
because
they own it
Fox,
now.
right? Yeah.
But they don't want to.
No, I think you're reading way too much into that shit. Pride? They didn't want that. That's like you buy a new house, but the garage has a leaky roof.
But they legally don't have anywhere to put it, is my point. They don't have anywhere to place it. If they put it
They have plenty of places to place it.
No, they don't. They can put it on Hulu if they want, maybe.
They could put it on Hulu and on demand and they'll be fine.
I was like,
they'll be fine.
They won't be fine because they don't have to worry about taking a hit.
Okay. Well, they'll be better than putting it out in theaters because nobody's going to go fucking see this movie, France.
True.
Yeah, it's true.
If you put it in home with as less of an investment, they will make some of that shit back. The movie costs like $200 million or more to make.
Yeah.
Telling you.
We'll see what decision they try to make. Like, it could be Pride, where it's like, oh, we can do things better than you can, Fox. But then at the same time, it's going to hurt them. So they should probably just put it out on streaming. Even if they were like, hey, it's $5.99 to rent, I'd be down. Like, whatever. Anyway, some more things that are not coming out.
We've rented worse movies, perhaps, for more money than $5.
Agreed.
We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about that soon. Okay, so what has been rumored, I feel like this is like the gun watch. Like every episode, we're going to talk about this, but it's the Snyder cut. So apparently it's like rumored that what they're doing like a live read thing. What was it, Mike?
They're doing, well, the Snyder cut is what the gun has been watching. That's what I feel like. Our gun watch has been pointed at the Snyder cut. Supposedly tomorrow night, from when we're recording this, they're going to have a Man of Steel live chat viewing thingy, like a lot of folks have been doing with their films lately. James Gunn did it, ironically, with Guardians Volume 1 and 2. And he was, chatting it up with fans and giving like Easter eggs, behind the scenes stuff. And a lot of the actors and people that were affiliated with the film were also chiming in on Twitter on the hashtag that they had set up for it. So for tomorrow, Man of Steel is what, this is a big deal. Snyder's going to be there. And there are two big rumors as to what is going to be announced tomorrow before, during, or after the viewing party.
There's going to say that the Snyder cut is going to be released inside of HBO Max when it comes out.
That's the one rumor.
That's one. What was the other one that they're going to...
That they'll announce finally Man of Steel 2.
Right, Man of Steel 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like there's so much hype around this Snyder cut that I'm like slightly over it. Like I hated that movie anyways. So I'm like, You want me to watch it again and like feel better about it? I don't know.
It's taken on a life of its own, and it's a very toxic life.
Yeah.
Damn. What's wrong with toxic, France? Future just dropped an album.
Yeah.
Who just dropped an album?
Future.
Oh God.
What? He's our patron saint of toxicity.
Thought that was like Tekashi 6ix9ine or something.
Oh no. That's the patron saint of buffoonery. But I'm talking about.
Got you.
You know, I'm talking about.
We're talking about the Snyder cut.
Yeah, we're talking about the Snyder cut.
The Snyder cut is the whole idea of it is. Do
you think they're really gonna do it though?
I don't even. Now it's going on so long. I don't care.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's really.
The last person I think to ask for it to come out was the homie Jason Momoa.
He's been asking
on Instagram. No, but on Instagram he just put out another
recently.
Joint,
he's like we're not doing anything. Put it out now.
I mean, he's got a point, but I feel like he says it every day. Like every other post of his is like Snyder cut. He's like, I'm getting T-shirts made.
Word. Like, he's chucking axes while drunk and asking for the Snyder cut.
He's like, Snyder cut? And you're like, all right, I mean, Momoa.
Do we need any? It exists. It exists. If he keeps saying he saw it and he wants it out there.
He did see it. That's true.
It exists.
In the age of, was it hydroxychloroquine? I don't trust nobody.
What?
Is this the age of hydroxychloroquine?
What are we talking about?
That's that, I'm not going to get into that.
It's politics.
I'm on my second shot. I'm not getting into that. Not of hydroxychloroquine, of medicina.
All right, so this other one of Man of Steel 2, are we excited about that? And are we saying that they're going to announce that it's a movie and it's real? Or are they going to announce that, hey, we made this movie, here it comes to streaming?
That would be the alley-oop of the year if they made a movie in secret for this long.
That'd be hilarious.
What? No way. It's impossible for them to have made Man of Steel 2, which I would assume would be Henry Cavill, right? We don't know, but...
Oh, they filmed it with The Witcher. He got a beard.
He doesn't know.
Oh, imagine the whole movie, they had to CGI his Witcher beard off of him.
Oh, my God.
The whole movie would look like that? Oh, my God. They learned nothing.
They
learned nothing.
Not a thing.
No, no. What would I be like more hyped for, though, between the two? Because Man of Steel, even if they announce it, it's like, okay, cool, but when's it gonna film? 2 years from now? Who cares?
Exactly, 2024.
Right now, for the purpose, and it could be just because for this episode I'm also drinking. For the purpose of drinking, the Snyder cut seems like the perfect drink while you watch movie.
Yeah.
Because what are the stakes? None. Really.
Zero. Literally no stakes.
Zero. People can only get better from there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. If I think about it like that, like we're in quarantine, everyone's trying to watch things. They're like going back to the 80s and watching things because they're like, what am I doing?
Yep, The Last Dance is over, so there's nothing else on television.
Which we haven't watched yet, so I guess that's next for us.
Yay. Yeah. Sports.
All right. So before we move on to our no spoilers review of Capone and Midnight Gospel, I want to do some shout-outs.
Hey. Do we need shout-out music?
This goes out to you and you.
Okay.
All right, we want to shout out Janaea Collins, who actually shouted us out recently, has been listening to some episodes and gave us a shout out, like bigging us up, telling people to listen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's awesome. She's got super nerdy kids.
She does. I was actually talking to my friend about her kids, and she was like, have you spoken to Aisha?
Listen, here at Two Nerds and an Actor, you know that we give a fuck about the kids.
We do.
These are facts.
We give fucks about all the nerdy kids out there. All the ones who don't even know that they're nerds. We're here for you.
All right.
What were we talking about? The kids. This is for the kids.
We're back to the shout-outs.
Yes. Janaea Collins, who has been listening. Thank you so much. Kat Ramos again, who shouted us out again. Thank you for being an avid and continuing listener. It's been so amazing. You actually donated too, so thank you so much for that.
Yes, thank you, Kat. Thank you.
You don't understand what that does for us. It's phenomenal. And Simone, who continues to donate monthly. Again, if you want to give to artists like us, now is the time, because there's a lot of people out there who are continuing to try to pivot their work to be digital and try to keep our spirits high and give you all the type of cultural innovations that is what artists do. And this is the perfect time for all artists. So you can donate to us.
For certain
in
ones.
terms of innovative and being creative about what you do, because there's so many theater artists out there who are like, what am I going to do now? And they've been doing like Zoom performances and stuff like that. So it's
really
hard.
creative stuff.
It's hard, but at the same time, people like us, and then there's people who are doing so many new things. So donate to them, donate to us. We can keep this going and have more new advancements for you all and keeping you happy. And it's tough.
And listen, share, please. Yes. If there's anything that we've come to learn is important, is word of mouth. We've grown as little by little, thanks to people just saying, "Hey, have you heard of this podcast?" Or "My friends do this and it's funny," or whatever. Share, get us into the sphere of influence.
Exactly. Change our algorithms for us.
Yeah.
If you like something, if you have a comment, put it in there. Subscribe and let people know what you're listening to.
We know you have nothing better to do right now, so share.
It's true. Literally, like, people have gone back and started listening to like episode 1, which is funny.
Goodness.
But like,
wait, they went way back?
People go back,
We were so young and virile.
And our sound wasn't as good.
Now we're old and virile.
It's true. But if you're listening and you like it, write a review. If you write for like a blog or something like that, write a review. Let us know that you've written it so we can share it, get our stuff out there.
And if we suck, tell us that we suck in a review.
Also tell us that we suck.
Tell us that.
I'm fine with it. I mean, don't be a troll. Nobody wants trolls, but like constructive criticism is helpful.
Yeah.
Trolls 2 did pretty well, but
wherever you're listening to us, you have the capacity to write a review. So just let us know how we're doing.
Yeah, because whatever they say, we'll use as fuel.
Yes. So if you do share, like, subscribe, tell your friends, anything like that, we will shout you out during this section. So make sure you do that. And then you get to hear your name on the interwebs.
Ooh.
On the streams. All right. So we're going to get back into the meat, the content of what we have for you today. Yeah. So we, again, did the thing for you. And we watched something so you don't have to.
We took the hit for you.
But in this next session, we will be doing a no spoilers review of the movie Al Capone starring Tom Hardy and of the Netflix series Midnight Gospel. So if you haven't watched it yet, that's fine. Keep listening. If you have watched it, that's fine too. Keep listening. Because we'll go into our spoilers review later. So let's get this party started.
How about it for our good friend Al, ladies and gentlemen?
Capone. All right, so I just want this is what I want to put out there is what warnings do you have for watchers about this? Disclaimers.
Wow.
Cautions.
We're starting with warnings.
You have to. Because it's not listen.
Part of me wanted to turn this discussion into an indictment on your love of Tom Hardy.
Oh.
But
I feel like that'll have to be in Spoilae because that would have to go in.
I'm just saying, just my general tone towards you is going to be one of hostility.
You can't handle the truth.
but I won't do that. What warnings? We each paid what, around $10 dollars to watch this?
$10, yep.
Okay, so I'm warning people. If you do not have $10 that you wouldn't miss, then consider saving that $10.
Yeah. Like if you found $10 in an old winter coat,
put the coat on.
Yeah.
And relish the comfort that is the warmth provided by that coat, rather than spend the $10.
Eat like a king at a bodega.
Yeah.
Safely distanced. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
For that $10. Warnings. Trigger warning, bodily fluids. How about that?
Bodily fluids.
That's a good one. That's
it's a trigger
that is
warning.
a good one. Ski da da ba da pop. Sorry, I just randomly start scatting.
Oh God!
I have a scatological condition.
Scatological condition. Okay, you got mad ideas for these names here. Same.
I gotta come up with the puns.
So many warnings.
Let's help people. The premise of this film is the film takes place during the twilight of the life of one Alphonse Capone,
right? The
most notorious fucking street mobster gangster person, perhaps in the history of America.
Yeah,
he's one of them. So this is the tail end of his life in which he is quite infirmed and sick due to the result of having contracted, syphilis? Syphilis when he was about 15 years old.
So that's like your whole life. Also, damn, you got syphilis at 15? What was you doing? Sorry.
Tweet that.
Wait. Good Lord. You didn't get like chlamydia or like, herpes.
Nah, my man went to syphilis. He said,
Jeez.
fuck my whole brain up, fam.
Yeah.
Third base.
Gonna start at 15.
Yeah. So that's pretty much this. Tom Hardy plays, obviously, Capone. When the movie first started and I saw Braun on the screen, I was like,
yeah.
I was like, wait, this is not LeBron's movie studio that he has. And no, it's not. It has no affiliation with that.
Definitely was him.
Yeah.
Yes. So you go into the life of Al Capone. Well,
not the life.
Not the life. You go into the end of the life.
It's the last year
of Al Capone.
Yes, the last 12 minutes.
Exactly. I would say warnings are if you believed you were going to learn more about Al Capone, stop and decease. Just
that's good. That's a good.
Don't keep going forward because it's a different film than that.
I have a warning.
Okay.
If you are one of those people who were, in my opinion, privileged enough to have watched Broadwalk Empire, and you saw, I don't remember the name of that actor.
Steve Buscemi?
No, the one who portrayed.
Oh, does
Capone.
he portray Capone? France, you want it?
Oh, I was like, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, but
I'm on it.
The character who portrays Capone, he was fuck. I think he's a British actor. Actually, I don't think he's Italian.
Everybody's a British actor,
right? But anyway, if you are expecting a tour de force performance of Capone on screen, similar to what you saw in Broadwalk Empire, if that's what your expectations are, you're not getting. That's not what this movie is.
Nope.
This movie isn't that.
Definitely not.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was the last best portrayal of Capone I could think of on screen.
Oh, wow. It was Stephen Graham.
Stephen Graham.
Yes. Stephen Graham, who was absolutely... he was fucking phenomenal as Capone, a young Capone in Broadwalk Empire. I wanted more of him, actually, on the show. But he ate the screen every time he was on there, And that's Nucky's story. But anyway, this movie, this is not a gangster movie.
No, definitely not.
And it's the best way I could put it without spoiling it would be it's trying to be as reflective perhaps as as Scorsese's last film.
Okay.
Because we have an elderly gangster here, right?
Right.
But it doesn't really hit any of the emotional notes.
And it's funny too because when I went to rent the movie, because I was like, I don't want to take the time to find this in some other ways I'm not going to say out loud. I rented.
Yeah, because hey, like in the movie, the feds might be listening.
Right. I rented this movie and it was under the thriller section. Also warning that it's not that either.
It's not a thriller.
It's not thrilling. You're not like, oh my God, what's going to happen? The suspense.
That's a good point.
None of that.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I didn't realize that it was in the thriller section.
I was like, oh, okay. It was about to go on a ride.
It's not a mafia movie. It's not a thriller.
Yeah.
The whole thing is mislabeled.
It is. Although the trailer is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got what you got duped into paying for.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's more like Capote than it was Capone.
I'm gonna put my hand up there and say, chill with that because Capote
it tried. It ain't hit.
Capote was an actually beautiful.
Capote was on
yeah.
Okay,
that was the point.
He's saying it's the opposite of Capote.
Yes, it was entirely mislabeled.
It was trying to be Capote.
We got Capone and Capote, but one has cap and one has no cap.
Yes.
One has pot.
Agreed.
One has all Yankee and brim. The other one does not have all or full Yankee, nor a brim.
Okay, so I feel like we have more to say, but I kind of want to leave it for the Spoilae. There's a lot to be said in the Spoilae. But the question for everyone who's listening who hasn't seen it, should they even see it at all?
Oh, no, you got to hate watch that. That's, whew. That is if you go into that knowing it's terrible, l'enfant terrible, if you know.
I would say, in my opinion, I wouldn't even give it time.
I agree with that. I wouldn't give it time either.
It's not interesting enough to even hate on, in my opinion.
Right. Like watching it, like I think we were halfway through and I was like, I really wish I could watch something else now.
Yeah.
I wish I could stop watching this.
Yeah. I would rather have seen any of the other movies I've ever seen Tom Hardy in reverse, in like a language I don't speak. I'd rather watch that.
I think it's called Tenet.
Capone. Ha! It might be.
It's called Tenet. Well, if you then have heard that review of us and are like, okay, I'm not going to see it, but I want to know more, keep listening because we will go into our Spoilae of that in a little bit.
It will Spoilae the hell out of it.
We're going to Spoilae this shit.
I feel like in like podcasts that I listen to that they're like, I'm going to talk about something that I would never see. I definitely would keep listening. I'm like, you tell me. I want to know the tea.
Oh, man.
We got the tea, trust me.
We got the tea. All right. So the next thing we watched, which I think a lot of people are just now watching the end of it because it does. If you're not versed in binging, I think Midnight Gospel takes a little bit for you to watch, but we watched Midnight Gospel. It is a show by the same creator of Adventure Time.
Pendleton
Ward. What a name. I want to know if that's really his name, to be honest.
You look at stuff he makes, I'm like, yeah.
Pendleton Ward.
Your parents went to Woodstock.
But it is like a trippy cartoon type of show that goes into the depths of existence and life and birth and death and all these things.
Yeah. While Pendleton Ward is responsible for, a lot of the visuals that we're seeing, it's also Duncan Trussell's podcast
right
from a few years back, superimposed with this new animation.
So meta. Talking about a visual podcast on a podcast.
Yes. It's like France was saying, it's we get accompanying of visuals to these actual podcast interviews. They're like interviews that are done by Duncan Trussell. And I mean, that's not the name of his character in the show, though, right? It's not Duncan.
Clancy.
Oh, it's Clancy.
His name's Clancy. Yeah. I know a good character name.
If
I got you guys on that.
if folks are familiar with the ye old Dr. Katz, this is not very. I'm sorry. It's similar to it.
It is
in that you have these sort of these visuals that tell the story of the conversation that's taking place,
right? And you have like this authentic conversation that's going on.
The conversations are without a doubt authentic as fuck.
Yeah.
And for some, it might be even uncomfortably authentic.
Yes.
And the visuals are, I'm going to say it for, non-spoiler, they're challenging.
Yeah.
They're challenging in that the show is very funky, psychedelic, surreal.
Yeah.
And so you shouldn't, if you're a fan of Adventure Time, there was a dog who talked and could stretch his parts out.
Right. He's a magical dog.
Right. Yeah.
There was pseudo explanation for that. Like not concrete.
What I'm saying, right. What I'm saying is if you're that level of surrealism that Adventure Time had.
If that's your peak.
Right. No, that's not even the peak. That's the placebo compared to what this is. If that's
your peak, this might not be.
Right. Yeah. This goes to some very, I'm going to use the word challenging places. Because at the heart of it, and I'll shut up in a second, it are these, like Aisha said, these very deep philosophical conversations that are taking place. And this show is not easy to binge.
No.
This is, so those are my non-spoiler takes right now.
Which is good because it kind of brings me to one of my questions I have is who is the audience for this show and how should you consume it is the question.
If you are someone who already frequents podcasts, then this is interesting for you because it challenges you in a visual way. If you're someone who's if you're into things, if you're someone who's into this things, you're like, man, I'm really into things. Like, man, I like stuff. Because this thing touches on everything at the borders of existentialism. So if you're just into a thing and you're open-minded enough to give it a chance, then do it. If you're not open-minded, give it a chance to open your freaking mind with a crowbar. I was like,
I agree.
It's actually it's for anyone.
I think part of it is that you have to find it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that at first, like when you see the trailer and even if you like first get into like the first episode, the initial reaction is like, oh man, people who drew drugs should like really watch this. Like that's what kind of goes through your mind. But as you think even deeper, you're like, I don't know, if someone is on drugs and watching this, they might miss everything. Because it's too sensory. It's too this, too that. So I do think it's for people who, are able, even if they have a little bit of a closed mind, have the ability to take something like that in, which it could like blow your mind open, really. And it just makes you think about everything. And it's like technically like based in the universe. Obviously, we're all in the universe, but
are we?
Exactly. That's the question it asks.
You can't speak to my experience.
If for all intensive purposes, he's in space, ? But like, imagine that's where it begins. And it's like a travel across existences. So I think it's not for people who are looking for concrete answers to things, but who have thought they had concrete answers and are now introduced to the questions.
Yeah, here's the other thing. Like, this is not a comedy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Or rather, it's not simply comedic.
Right.
It has elements of any like really deep, engaging conversation you could ever remember having. And hopefully everyone who's listening to this has had a meaningful conversation on levels that transcend the moment in a way that you find yourself in the future reflecting back on that conversation. And when you really reflect deeply, that's a conversation you wish you had in the past.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those type things. And the show throws you into these these discussions that, touch on topics that are not everyone is ready to process some of the things that the show not only presents as possibilities, but challenges you to consider. So, they talk about meditation, spirituality, life, death, the soul, existence, love, all the deep topics, the things that, fuckboys try to pretend to be, care about, in the chat.
Oh, you into that? Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
me
crazy.
too. I took a class once.
That's wild, yo.
Yeah, my mom
really
likes that shit.
I can't drink Henny like that. I don't know. And also, I don't know if a person should or needs to be sober for this show. I'm going to be 100% about that. But it's interesting that one of the themes in the show is the idea of escapism. So consider that before you go to consume the show. If you're considering watching the show, how you should go into it. So.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go into more details on that, kind of specifics and things we got out of it. So if you haven't seen Midnight Gospel, I would actually suggest that you don't listen to our Spoilae, because I think it's something you should really experience and then maybe come back to us to kind of process some thoughts you might be having with us.
I would be super interested to hear people's thoughts on it if they actually go and gave the show a chance.
Yeah, for sure.
Please let us know.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. And, as always, wash your hands. But I'm going to say take a shot. We're stuck inside. If you've been drinking already, pace
for the kids, iced tea. Take a shot of iced tea.
Take a shot of iced tea. Get chocolate wasted. And, come back, because we're going to talk about Capone. So we should
the kids are all curious about Capone.
Yeah, they all want to know. He wanted to know about the kids.
Oh man,
good one. Good Aisha.
He wanted to know.
That's a good one.
All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back.
By the time you guys come back from the break, I'll be on shot number 3.
Oh, catch up. And we're back. I hope you all had a good
ASMR.
shot. Was it?
No, this ain't it. They gotta pay for. No. Don't do that for free. Heath this ledger, okay?
Oh.
And don't do that for free.
Okay.
Those battle rap bars. That was dope. I make funk face for that.
I get mad at France because we've known each other for decades now, and he knows that I got them out the booth bars.
Out the booth bars.
That ass.
And he's always acting surprised that
No, I'm always amping you up, hyping you.
He's the guy in the chair in the studio.
But I'm out the booth.
But you're not in the booth. You're
I'm across the street.
He's waiting for the bus doing this shit. We're like, bro, why the fuck you doing this now?
Where you been at? Well, before we get started in our Spoilae review of Capone and Midnight Gospel, I do a little questions segment, which I still don't have a name for because I can't use Forky Ask the Question.
Oh my God.
I can't use it. It's been used. So the question for this episode is, how have you replaced your outside nerd activities with inside nerd activities? Or if you're normally a homebody and you stay in, how have you been spending your, I put this in quotes, time, because what is time?
Okay, so how have we been doing that? I'll give the latest example of one of those things that I've done. So my niece, Teto, shout out to Teto, and her kids, who I affectionately call my monsters. She just sat them down yesterday to watch Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone for the first time. They have not watched any Harry Potter anything their entire lives.
Goodness.
Okay? Papa just hit 6 and Alexi just hit 9. So this is the first time they watch Harry Potter. They loved it. They absolutely loved it.
Yes.
So I'm like ecstatic about that. And I'm also trying to here's where I'm merging and doing the nerd thing and both my education and everything, how I incorporate stuff. I'm like telling my niece, yo, so this is what you do, right? You could make it fun, but educational too. Teach them, the basic definition for what fantasy is.
Oh.
And then when they watch Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, have them, pose this challenge to them at the beginning of the film. Say, at the end, I want you to give me 5 examples of fantasy that you notice in this movie. And then I was like, you can make it fun, but they'll be looking out for those things and like learning by accident. So, and what I'm enjoying is Papa asked me today when we were on video chat. That's another thing nerds are doing, a lot of fucking video chats.
Yeah.
We're video chatting right now to record this. He was like, do you have a Harry Potter, Pop? And I was like, do I have a Harry Potter? I said, yeah, I have one. Is it Harry? I was like, no. And then I showed him, I got Snape.
Yes.
And he was like, why do you have him?
Oh, he about to know.
He's mean to Harry. And I just laughed.
He about to see everything.
You're gonna learn today.
I laughed heartedly. So there you go.
Amazing.
That is dope.
I don't have like a cute story like that. I feel like.
Do you have a sexy story?
Oh my God.
Right there, put the sax. We need the sax there.
Yes! That's trying to get us sued by everybody.
Daryl, we need a copyright.
We
need Daryl. Thank you.
I'm changing the name of this episode to Daryl.
Daryl's our sound editor.
They're going to think we've been watching Walking Dead, though, if we name it Daryl.
Shout out to White Horses.
Yes, shout out to White Horses. Legit.
Wild.
White Horses. Wild
I know what
horses.
I said.
You know what he said.
And then he made me say it. This is what happens when we drink.
Wait, I was going to go down the spectrum until I got to Wild.
Until we get to Wild.
I was playing Uno, France.
Brown.
You were playing chess.
Blue, unicorn.
You see, France don't get it, man. You don't get it.
He's working on it. He's drinking too. The thing I feel like we did or tried to do that is still our nerdy thing, we always go to Alamo. We do the movies thing. So we project movies on our wall. If anyone has ever come to our Halloween party, we did that one year. We might do it again. We just got to figure out the configuration. But yeah, we project movies on our wall. I mean, we did it on before all this happened, like date nights when it's like, oh, let's stay in. We'll project on. Now it's like, this is the only option that we have. So, but I think the most nerdy thing we've done is like us all together watching movies, talking with the Xbox Live function.
Oh yeah, we did that. We did do that.
Yeah.
For underwater.
Yeah, underwater. And for Bloodshot.
And for Bloodshot, yes.
So I think that's been our,
we need a better movie to do that for me.
We definitely do. Because it was so easy to talk through those ones too. We're like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yes. Listen, listeners, we're begging you. Suggest a movie
please
that we can watch that we haven't talked about or reviewed.
Yes.
Let's make it easier for them. How about we make it easier?
Okay.
I challenge the
From
listeners.
the 90s. No.
Yes. That's it. I should
is
get
that
the
what you're
fuck
gonna
out
say?
of my head.
We were meant to podcast together.
Listeners, it took 4 years for us to realize that. Listeners, message us, snail mail, whatever you need to do, pigeon toe, whatever, raven. Send us movies from the 90s.
Yeah.
Something from the 90s.
Just not Batman Forever. Go ahead.
Yeah. No,
I will
don't
watch that.
Whatever. I doubt it'll get that many, whatever.
Right.
You want to give us Nipple Batman? Whatever.
We've also already seen that one. Try to think of something we maybe haven't seen.
Maybe haven't seen.
It's
from
tough,
the
but-
90s.
Yeah.
Okay? And we will try to watch that together and then we'll review it for
I'm
y'all.
down.
That'd be fun.
We just watched The Predator, so I'm down to go back back to the regular ones because that was a journey too.
The Jesse.
All right, France.
Nothing extraneous though. But I started writing nerd rap bars.
Ow!
Yo, Ruff, you heard that? Ruff, you heard that?
Mike's face was the best. We gotta start recording these Zoom things.
Yo, Frank, you heard that, Frank?
Yeah, little things here and there. So it's like, look, when it pops, it pops. Maybe next time I'll write a couple and say someone.
Yo,
on air.
France.
Yeah,
I dare you to get our favorite music producer on the shows to do like a Spy Hunter mix for you to rap over.
Spy Hunter. Yo, you took it back.
I know, but he likes doing retro. I dare him to do that.
What's Spy Hunter?
It got mentioned last episode, but it's a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
Where you drive a car.
That turns into a boat.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And then
But the music
turns
is
into a bar. It's a car that turns into a boat that turns into a bar.
Turns into bars.
Mm-hmm.
Bing, bing, bing. All right, say less. I've
said too much.
Nah, that's you. I'm gonna tag him.
Wait, are you gonna tell them what you found, like a bunch of beats, right?
Oh, yeah, but that's what I've been doing. I found a bunch of beats and I'm working on some nerd bars. Maybe make a little EP shutting.
Ow! All right.
Yo, my nipples are so hard right now.
Yo. Do it off key.
It's almost sad that we have to go into this spoilers review of Capone.
Yeah, we gotta ruin this with Capone.
It's a gravity well.
We're having so much fun. But okay, if you haven't seen Capone and for some reason after listening to us before still want to go see it, stop listening now, I guess.
Spoilae!
Or keep listening because I don't really think there's much spoilers for this. You could watch that after listening to us and still be like, what the fuck is happening? I'm
gonna go off.
Okay.
I'm about to throw them bows.
First, I think I want to say, what were the moments you felt were the movie's downfall? And if you didn't think there were downfall moments for some reason, if you liked it, I'm just putting this out there. Could happen. What were the high moments? If that's your bag.
Okay, yeah. We'll start. I'll start off with let's see the name of the movie.
Wait, as a high note or as a downfall?
As a downfall. Okay. I'll start there. That's the downfall.
All right.
This would have been 11 times more interesting if it was just some dude, some aged gangster without a name. I was like, that's the shit that makes some of the, Scorsese stuff so much more fascinating. Right. Is that we can't go into Google and find out some of the people. He alludes to some things, but not enough people are named after some people.
Books about actual gangsters.
Case in point, Mario Puzo did that thing and there you go. You're the Godfather. But it's
but you don't name it the actual person where people are expecting something.
I was like, but you named Capone. Fuck, he existed when black people were still singing in clubs in the 40s. That shit is too rich. Shit is too contextual. I was
it's true.
But yeah, it could have been, if it was a grounding it in Capone, already made it bad. If it wasn't going to be an on point biopic.
Right.
Yeah.
Make this shit fucking Shutter Island.
And not even though.
Nah, Shutter Island was actually intriguing. Right. So I'm gonna put it in context for probably only folks that know about some sports might get this, but bear with me.
Sportsin'.
So the phenomenon that was the documentary series The Last Dance just recently ended, right?
Right.
Taking the internet by storm, folks that were not familiar with, who did not grow up with Michael Jordan as their idol. Perhaps they grew up with Kobe or with LeBron. We're getting to see why this player was so revered, right? imagine, if you will, these people that were making the documentary, instead of telling The Last Dance about the Bulls and their, winning the 6 championships in 8 years, they just documented Jordan's last year in Washington only.
Where he played baseball.
No, because that was in the middle. I'm saying, what if they just made, a movie that only contained information about Jordan's last year when he was like 38 fucking years old?
No, it's just the last 4 minutes of the game.
Right, last 4 minutes of his last game, okay? That's what Capone is. It's named Capone.
Right.
But it gives you the least interesting aspect of this person's life.
Yeah.
I felt so disengaged watching this film.
Disengaged.
Oh my God.
Right, because they give you nothing to care about. There's not one single solitary character that you have anything to latch an investment on, emotionally or even intellectually.
It's true.
The name of the movie is Capone, but the whole point of the movie is that he is nothing like himself.
He's not Capone.
The only
not Capone. That's what it should have been.
No cap.
Yeah.
He's through like these weird radio shows that are taking place, through like these news headlines or whatever that are sprinkled throughout the film. That's where you get these glimpses into Capone as the gangster. Capone as this fucking tour de force that the entire U.S. government was hell bent on bringing down. And the only way they could fucking bring him down is through tax evasion. Okay. This film gives you these, kind of mentally demented years of Capone's life, but it doesn't do it in an interesting enough way there's no weight to it.
Yeah.
For you to call this, it's like calling a movie Babe Ruth.
Right.
But you show me a day where Babe Ruth was at
he is retired.
No, not even. He's just getting his car fixed at a garage and eating a hot dog. Nothing interesting is happening.
He's sitting in the waiting area while his car is getting fixed.
Yeah, nothing. This like, okay, you're Capone, but you give me nothing to care about unless you are absolutely inundated and completely familiar with the history of one Alphonse Capone. If you have none of the knowledge of who he was and you try to watch this movie, God bless.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And the whole thing falls for me, on direction. I was like, direction on the writing and the editing, which is all done by the same person.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to say. So my downfall for the whole film is that they missed an opportunity. There's an opportunity here to play with time and the most rich and intense life of a gangster in a way that is like intriguing. Like you could have like Beautiful Mind this movie.
Yeah.
Like you had the opportunity to make it really interesting and deep and make you think about how this gangster is going through the end of his life.
Right.
Stuck between time, stuck between this or that, or not being able to be coherent in his own space. But instead, they made it so simple that you as the watcher were confused. Like the only time you were thinking was, is this real? Is this not real? And it wasn't in the way you're like, oh my God, is this real? Is this happening? It was like, what's going on? Did this really happen?
Right.
What is he doing? Is this going on? Or is he passed out somewhere right now in a hallway? Like,
The movie, it's two things. And trust me, we're not sponsored by Netflix and I'm not trying to, suck Netflix's dick or anything like that. But two things. One, it had none of the emotional grounding that The Irishman gave. Which again, I brought that up in the non-spoiler. That's a film about an aging gangster as well, but at least you have some things narratively to latch onto where the decline of this character can mean something to you.
Right, it could.
Instead, this is just like decline. Like it's like watching
decline.
It's dementia porn.
Yeah,
because you have no context. You have no context for why this person is suffering incontinence and all these other things. There's no emotional attachment to this. You're simply just watching it happen. And I doubt that was on purpose.
Yeah.
And number two, going to what you were mentioning, Aisha, this film wishes that it had the surrealistic like direction of even a tenth of 5 minutes contained in what we're going to talk about next, Midnight Gospel.
Right.
It had none of that. Like there's a scene where like he's walking through a party, like a New Year's party or some shit like that.
Right.
And Louis Armstrong is singing on stage, and he joins him on stage and all that shit.
That was like one of the coolest moments of the entire movie.
Yeah, it was cool, but it doesn't.
But you were like, what?
But there's no gravitas. There's no weight.
Right, there's no weight to it. It's happening, and we have no context as a viewer. Again, unless you are completely 100% familiar, you are a Capone historian. Unless you have that, it gives you nothing. Which is why, for the last time, I'll mention Stephen Graham is the name of the actor that played him in Brokeback. Which is why in Brokeback Empire, Stephen Graham, he ate and chewed the screen up. Yeah, maybe he was acting like a stereotypical gangster. That's perhaps the most people's take on it. But at least his portrayal gave you a sense of danger when he was on the screen. It gave you a sense of like, you don't know what this guy's going to do next. And you cared because it was grounded in the performance of everybody around him.
Right.
This movie is just Tom Hardy saying, is this a scene where I shit myself or I pee myself?
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing.
The last pratfall for me for this movie goes back to what Aisha was talking about. This movie was written, directed, and edited by Josh fucking Trank, who was brilliant for Chronicle and hasn't been brilliant since. His Fantastic Four was a traki piece of dookie for a bunch of reasons, but nonetheless, the whole thing with the studio, that or as real as that is, that's no longer an excuse that flies anymore. Right. The studio's always involved now. That said, this lives and dies on Josh Trank's execution. And it's bad execution. And I get what he was going for, and I almost appreciate the intention. Almost. I care about intention. This falls way too flat. It missed the mark in every conceivable way.
Yeah.
Basically, like the movie, for anyone who's listening hasn't seen it, we all we see of Capone is him being in this state, eyes bloodshot, glassy. We had to put subtitles on because we were like, are we missing something? But then the subtitles said unintelligible grumbles.
Several times. How I understand your Bane. How I understand your Bane more than I do your Capone.
You're just talking to someone. So it's just these moments of him going in and out of his own like reality. And I honestly think that it was trying to take us along for that ride. But like I mentioned before, you are lost throughout everything. Yeah. And you honestly don't care. I'm like, yo, will someone put this man out of his misery?
Yeah.
And I like the next thing I was going to ask about, like, how do you feel about Tom Hardy's performance, which I know we were going to get into.
I was. What?
And like, I love my Tom.
I
love
do?
my Toms. I do. I think that one, he took the role because obviously like, oh, you want to play Capone in a side that no one's ever seen him before. Fuck yeah, I want to do that.
He said yes.
I'm Tom Hardy. I want an Oscar.
I get to do a voice. Yeah, I
get to do a voice. So I can see why he took the role, and I think that's the impetus why he takes a lot of roles. There's all these roles that like, we're going to be so deep, it's going to be so good, but then they get like, oh man, the directing doesn't work out, or the editing doesn't work out, or it's like things that I feel are not at his fault.
Venom.
You know what I mean? Like all these things that seem like, oh my God, I got this great opportunity, and then it's like, fuck.
Yeah, but for Venom, I felt like he tried.
I liked his performance in Venom. It's fine. It just wasn't.
Well, it was weird.
It's
I felt like he
weird.
tried what he had, but it was not. To me, that wasn't like Eddie Brock. It was weird.
No,
it didn't feel in direction there. It felt it another way.
Right. But in this film, it's like if you're gonna go surrealism, if you're gonna go this whole route that France and Alicia, for the listeners, are trying to explain, which is like you're questioning reality and is this real and what room is he in? Is he really there? Whatever.
Right.
If you're gonna do that, there's only two ways that can succeed. One, I have to care about the reality of the individual who I'm questioning the events I'm perceiving. I have to care about that individual.
Right.
Otherwise, it's a train wreck.
And I think it seems like we missed like the first half of a movie. It's like this started in the middle.
Yeah, nothing was established. Nothing was established.
Which was the intention, but it didn't follow through.
Right. No. And then the second thing you have to do, okay, if you're going to show me surrealism, you have to do it in a way that's like, in and of itself, almost separate from the character, engaging and interesting and challenging.
You know?
Yeah.
And at no point, it wasn't that at all.
It didn't, and it almost touched on it, and I thought that it was dragging super slow, but when it got to that scene with Louis Armstrong, so Aisha reminded me while watching it, there's no audio recordings of Al Capone.
Yeah, I looked up a bunch of stuff to see what really happened and what didn't. And one of the questions was like, did he really sound like that? And they're like, there are no known recordings of Al Capone's voice. So that was a director's choice.
That is extremely interesting.
Right? But there's a shit ton of photographs. And I was thinking that when he did the thing and he pulled up to Louis because he goes really slow and they get into a formation, that it was going to match up to a photograph or something that already existed.
That would have been interesting, but it didn't do that.
And if that, between that and the radio, if those touch points were consistent, I could have literally vibed with it almost.
Right.
I'm gonna show my age here, okay? Which is 36 and sexy. But
sorry. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Why would you? But there's a problem when a movie titled Capone with such a powerhouse of an actor, Tom Hardy.
I know.
And a decent supporting cast, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There's a problem when your film is less engaging and has less of a payoff than the fucking Geraldo Mystery of Capone's Vault series they had on the TV way back in the day.
It's true.
Go back and look at that. They hyped up. They made this whole fucking TV series where they were going to open up Capone's vaults looking for his missing money.
Yeah.
Which is a theme in this film. And all to shit, they opened up these DK vaults and they found nothing. I mean, I'd rather watch Storage Wars, than
that always
what they
happens
found
on those shows. So like, we're gonna open up this tomb.
They found fucking they found nothing.
Dust.
They found nothing. So this film was that. The whole climactic scene in this movie is when he goes and he gets the golden Tommy gun. And he's in this fucking state of absolute, I don't know what to call it.
Right. He's about to like shoot he's about to shoot one of the workers, like the gardeners or something like that. And like honestly, I was like, please God, let him miss, because he's like incompetent, incoherent, and he can't aim. Like, please.
And he has this weird animosity towards him for no reason.
Yeah.
So, that's supposed to be the payoff of the film. But again, he's killing people, but you don't know who they are. You don't care.
Know who they are. Yeah.
The one person who he kills, which is a recurring Gino, I think this is the name of the actor, the character. He shows up throughout the film, but we had no time to develop any type of
anything.
What is it? Yeah, anything. So when he kills Gino, you're like,
I guess he killed that guy.
He's dangerous. And it ends with, his son who was calling and not speaking or whatever, his strange son, whatever you call it, holding his hand and fades to black with, words on the screen to tell us what happened for the remaining moments of his life. But there's no gravity to it. I didn't care.
So I actually went back after like all these things are happening and we have no connection to Al Capone's real life or anything that's really happening that we know of. So I was like, I need to know how much license they took with this movie in order to do what they did. So I started looking up like what really happened, and there's several articles that are out there. I'll find the links. I'll put them in comments. But they talk about like what was real and what wasn't, and like 80% of this is not real. A lot of it was licensed from the director, writer, all encompassing thing that like. For one, it was like, did he talk like that? Obviously, we talked about like, we don't know. And then it was like, did he have an estranged son? And they're like, nobody knows. They're like, he could have. it's been rumors, but nobody
he
knows.
Get syphilis off a handshake.
Yeah, they're like, but that's not like a thing. Like he had a son named Tony and blah, 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 blah. And like all these little things that happen. I'm like, did he really shoot up his house? Like, did that happen? No, he didn't shoot anyone. There was no guns, nothing. But it was like he had a violent moment with his brother once, but there was no mention of him like shooting him in the leg or him going on the shooting. None of that happened. And then like the funniest thing I thought was like when they were like, oh, he needs to stop smoking. Like give him this carrot so that he can chew on a carrot instead of a cigar. Like you just got to get him to stop smoking. That was completely made up because the director thought it would be funny. He thought it'd be funny that, like, instead of Capone having a cigar, having him have a carrot would be, like, hilarious.
I can't wait for the supercut that someone does of this film, making it a comedy.
Yes. Every time I was watching it, I feel like this whole movie is a stretched out Family Guy cutscene.
Yeah.
And like I should have been laughing, but I wasn't because I was like, you're trying to tell me this is serious. And that's why I felt so bad for Tom Hardy. I'm like, yo, his whole performance got turned into poop jokes.
Absolutely, because they don't give you enough
to poop jokes.
Right, when he shits himself in the bed, there's
like, oh
not,
my God.
Right, you don't know enough
it's just disgusting.
About the characters where you could maybe feel some sympathy for him or people that have similar situations, mental, decline issues.
Right.
They don't give you enough about his wife or his girl that's there. So it's like when that happens, it's more like a, like a womp womp. It has no emotional
when he's talking
resonance.
to the FBI agents and he just shits his pants, and I was like, did he just shit his pants?
And that happens for mad long. And what makes that scene worse is who's his fucking lawyer played by? Neil Brennan, who we all associate with fucking comedy. So it's like, is this the part where it gets hot cha-cha-cha?
Yes. And I was
As
like,
you can see, my client has shit himself and continues to do so.
Done here.
Yeah. Are you going to put that on the record, agent?
It made it sad. It made it sad because it didn't handle what is now a very commonplace understanding about mental illness.
Right.
With any. It wasn't a deft handling of it. Mm-hmm. It was really like a weird.
It didn't add anything to the like trying to raise awareness or sympathy or any type of those things. Yeah,
it's just a new standard, and it didn't meet it.
It didn't meet it.
Yeah, agreed.
Which is why I'm like, okay, I'm glad it came out on like streaming and didn't come to theaters because it kind of would have been like, I don't want to say like an embarrassment because I think Tom Hardy tried. I think he tried.
I don't know.
He's a performer. He did everything he could do as a performer.
Tries,
There's a terrible script, terrible direction, and bad editing. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
This is a bad movie. If you are a fan of Captain Hook, or you just have some deep disdain for crocodiles, alligators.
Oh my God.
Maybe this is the movie for you.
Yeah, totally.
That was my favorite part. When he's
when he shot the crocodile.
Dylan, what's the guy's name? The guy from
Matt
Wild
Dillon.
Things. Matt Dillon,
yeah.
When he just out of nowhere shoots the crocodile with the fucking shotgun and then later he sees the crocodile.
But
if you have a disdain for crocodiles, you might like it.
If like the movie itself though, I'm like, now that I think about it, did that even happen? Was that real?
No. Apparently not, because that guy he was talking to wasn't there.
Wasn't even there. He was dead. Yeah. All right. So, how many? I'm just gonna make it real simple. Golden Tommy guns.
It's fucking zero. Whatever it is, it's zero.
How many golden Tommy guns?
Tommy guns do you give it?
I'll give it a 1.
Just the clip.
1.
I'll give it 1.
Just the barrel.
I'll give it 1 golden Tommy gun because there was one golden Tommy gun in it.
Golden Tommy gun in
and he lit that motherfucker up.
I'm trying to be nice, but I think I agree. I would give it 1. I don't know why it was made. I don't know what I'm supposed to take from it. I don't know.
I wish it was a good enough performance from Hardy where I'm like, damn, he was just working with bad material.
He carried that movie.
Yeah,
you know
but even he was incoherent. There were very few moments where he gave me anything where as a viewer, I could connect with him. He's done so much better with less.
Yeah, he shit his pants like 3 times.
I want to see B-roll where he slips into Bane by accident.
And no one wanted to know who I was until I took the cigar.
No one cared about me till I drew this carrot. I feel like he's done more with less in other roles, and this one just wasn't it, Chief.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on to very much exciting and very deep. Like you go from something with no depth to something with the most depth we can actually comprehend.
No.
To Midnight Gospel. Again, if you have not watched all of Midnight Gospel, stop it now, fast forward to our next section or whichever, and come back and listen, because I do not want to spoil this for you. It's very fulfilling to watch it as it comes to you and not
I tell you
know.
something, it's a difficult show to spoil, to be honest.
It's true. Yeah.
I mean, it is.
But I wouldn't want like our
some of the things, even if we
to be
explain
in
it to
someone
you,
else's head.
Nah, I want my
while
opinion
they're
in their head.
watching
I want
it.
my opinion all in their grill.
What?
I'm just saying it's hard to spoil, but still, I'm with Aisha. I co-sign. If you haven't watched it and you're interested based on our non-spoiler take, by all means, please go watch it first before listening to this part.
Merging with simulator in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so one of the things, and it's going to be hard because I think there's so much in this show. I guess I'll say, like, first for people, like we mentioned before, the show is like this intergalactic spiritual experience, all done through these real conversations on this man's, what he calls a space cast, and the character's name is Clarence, but it's Duncan. Clancy, sorry. Duncan, what was his last name? Trussell. But it's like this simulator, this computer simulator, where he gets transported to these different planets, and he finds someone who he can interview.
These
for his
simulated,
space cast.
if I'm not mistaken, these planets are not even real. They're simulations.
Yes.
Yeah, simulated planets,
Right.
which apparently like keep dying because of errors, and we'll talk about it, I guess, a little bit later. But he gets shot to these places in the simulation to do these space casts, and they have these really intense and deep conversations with people who are really knowledgeable in their own fields.
Yeah, they're in real life.
In real life.
Yeah, like gurus, experts on meditation or different disciplines and stuff like that. Right. Yeah.
So I guess it's not something that you expect to find when you go into, like, you see the trailer, you don't really know what to think, and then you get into the show and you start really like taking in the visuals and then taking in the conversation, and it like transports you as well. So one of my questions is, what is kind of the biggest impactful takeaway that you got from either an episode, or if in general it made you think things and take things away?
Yikes. I think so for me, the episode that spoke to me, the whole thing does, but the Soul Prison episode spoke to me, but what it did was show me, I didn't realize the depth that the show could have in all of its levels. This show is meta because it's designed in a meta way.
Well, talk a little about what the Soul Prison was.
Oh, I keep forgetting this is the Spoilae version. We could actually go ham.
You can say.
No, it's like the whole, so there's a prison, and it's comprised of almost the entirety of folks that we've already seen in previous episodes. But they're in prison, and their soul is tethered to them, but sitting outside of their bodies.
And their tongues are cut off, so they can't speak.
Their tongues are cut off, and we're following a prisoner, but we recognize this is not the experience of anyone in that prison. When they die, they go to what looks like the Egyptian duat, where you have your heart weighed against your actions and against innocence, and you come back every time after you die. And depending on those actions that you commit during the time you were alive, determines how you are when you come back.
It's like the ultimate rehabilitation. Spiritual, physical rehabilitation.
Yeah.
And then there's this
cyclical. But the thing about it is each individual, their cycles, they're the only ones aware of it.
Right. Yeah. Not everyone is seeing what's going on.
The torment.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
Well, most important for me was that somehow I kept getting lost in the depth of what I was seeing and the depth of what I was listening to.
Right.
And I kept ping-ponging back and forth. And that is, I don't know if you can do that on purpose.
Right.
It was like the mastery of that moment as a viewer. I almost cried several times. It was just the immensity of it. The moment we're living in, and then and then to experience this, it was wild. It was.
There were several moments that were very jarring.
Well, for some reason, I think it was the metaphysical ping pong of what I was watching being as deep, and then I'm a sucker for anything Egyptology, that the study of that spirituality and that civilization, and it spoke to me in that way. It was super deep, and I was like super hella into it, and still in mild disbelief that I was watching it.
Right.
I think for me, it's between two episodes, really. I think in my life, I like recently have been having a lot of thoughts. It's gonna sound bad. A lot of thoughts about death, but not in the sense where it's
I mean, during these times,
right?
I don't think that's that absurd of a thought.
But just like the idea of death and its permanence, and how like as a child, I never thought about it as a scary thing. I just thought about it as an inevitable thing. But then as an adult, I can see and feel of it like a scary thing. Right. So everything I like consume at the time, I kind of put against the idea of death and what it means to like one day, like you're gonna die, the people around you are gonna die, that kind of thing, which this show deals with a lot. Immensely. So the two episodes I think that really impacted me, and I think it impacted a lot of people too, because I saw a lot of stuff about this kind of in the media, is the last episode, the finale, where he's, talking to his mother, and it is literally the ultimate talk about the cycle of life and the psychology of a cycle of life and living, and what it is to always be dying, but then to know you're dying and that kind of thing. But then also the magic episode. The episode with the guy, the fish head, and he has all the cats that like run his boat. That episode just got me because, the people around me, like shout out to Jenna, who I really think should watch that episode, even though like she'll probably be like side-eye to it. But it just talks about the realistic nature of magic in our lives and like where it comes from and what it really means. And all these studies of religion are really about this undertone of like magic and how we manifest things, which is a big part of my life. Like I, grew up Catholic and stuff like that. And I always knew there was a sort of type of what I call magic in it. And it was just humans' perception of what we're experiencing of magic. So that was one of the episodes I had to be like, I'm sorry, I can't do something while watching this. I need to stop and really.
You cannot.
You can't
do that with this show.
Yeah. So, and I definitely cried. Like tears didn't fall because I refused to let them. But in that last episode where he's like,
oh man,
talking to his mom, and like there were so many things that I should have wrote them down, like that you can't.
Yeah, you can't get it back.
Even fathom. They're coming at you so fast. This is so amazing to think about, and the visual of him being born and then like giving birth to his fucking mom, and like wild. Going through life again. And I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are for me.
How do I like? I think most people like the three most common reactions to the types of discussions that this show has.
Yeah.
Are either one, you'd be completely dismissive, like these are just people talking above their station. They're talking above actually experiencing what life is. They don't get it. They're privileged enough to have those lofty and highfalutin thoughts about the shit I'm going through. Those are people who refuse to elevate.
Yeah.
Consciousness, intellect, or whatever, spirituality, for whatever reason. The second are people that would see this as a therapeutic exercise. You're listening to people process.
Yeah.
And sharing how they process through some of the tough ideas, structures, systems, and things like that. That as human beings, most of us experience, whether head on or passively, because of life being what it is, an interconnected experience that we have. And then you have the third type of person who would somehow see this as a voyeuristic escapism
Yeah.
These are other people processing it, so I don't have to. Which is essentially what Clancy is doing when he travels to these simulated worlds to speak to people. I went deep with it because I binged this shit. And I joked with y'all in the group chat several times. I said, my dreams look like this.
Yeah.
And they do. I'm not even fucking joking. Anybody that's read poems that I've written in the past about my dreams or whatever, or me describing dreams as best as I can with words. I'm watching this show and I'm like, yo, me and Pendleton could definitely have a drink because like him doing this, I'm saying it's surreal and challenging, but in many ways, and please, this is not me trying to make this like an exclusive. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying I related to a lot of where the visuals were coming from, grounded in these deep conversations,
deep ass conversations
that the people I'm closest with in life, that's where we're at.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like that's the baseline for where we're at because I don't deal with fucking superficial shit. So, you know, those are the three main ways I think people would approach a show like this. And I think that either one of those three ways would benefit from watching the show.
Yeah.
On different levels. That being said, the two episodes that stood out to me were, of course, the last episode.
Yeah.
You know, because it touched upon perhaps the most universal thing.
Yeah.
Out of all the topics that were talked about, which is death.
Space.
Yeah.
Right. Which is death. You know, if we're being completely candid, you know, the fact that he was having a deep conversation like that with his mother, you know, I'm thinking about my mom.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the fact that I haven't seen her in a while because of, you know, with the quarantine and all that stuff. And the fact that they were having a spiritual conversation, a non-judgmental, safe space conversation. It has taken me and my own mother decades to get to the point where I feel we could have a conversation that is close to that level of like open-mindedness.
I know. It was
so I related to that a lot. The other episode that I liked a lot was episode 4, which was the episode about listening. Where he went. He had planned to go to the party planet.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
With his simulated body that had like every fucking kind of genitalia you could think of.
I could not even look at that. I was like,
that was hilarious. But then instead he gets ping to the wrong planet.
Right.
You know, and it was hilarious. He's asking people where the orgies are, and but that episode
it was a medieval planet. That's what it was, right?
It was something crazy with a demon in someone's ass, literally.
Oh my god, that was intense.
That episode, I almost feel like it's hit. It's number 4, so it's basically in the middle of the 8-episode season, right? I don't know how thoughtful they were of this, but it's like you need that episode. That episode is as close to like a key. What do they call that on a map? Where you have like the
key.
The key. Yeah.
That's as
tells
close
you where
to
to
a
go.
key, right? I'm like, if you don't have episode 4 as like your baseline,
it's true.
I'm like, I don't know how much you can really get out of the rest, but it was about listening, the intentional listening.
Yeah.
It was about the energy of words. Which, you know, we're podcasting, so we're biased to that, I think, innately. And it was just this idea of, you know, people, they like to share this meme, like most people just listen for the purpose of responding, you know, like, which is true.
Yeah.
But it was about how you can put energy in and get energy from that act of listening. And not just listening to what other people are saying, which you guys have, whoever's listening to this now has probably heard me for long enough. But also it's just that state of mind and state of being receptive to whatever you're experiencing around you. It doesn't have to be another person's actual voice, but it is a self-reflection, and it is a space that you can go to and be open to trying to receive, you know, what's going on. Yeah. And moving from there. So few people take the time to get to that space that I think it speaks volumes to a lot of the issues that we have as people. Yeah. But I know that we recognize when we're in that space or when we're speaking to somebody who's in that space. And those conversations are the ones that I think have most deeply shaped and resonated with us as people in our lives if we reflect on it. So those are my takeaways.
No, I think that like everything in this show is for someone, to be honest. Even, I know we're talking about like if you have the capability to open your mind, like even if you don't, like I don't fucking care. Fucking watch it. Just fucking watch it. Cause like I even myself have this issue with meditation because I do so much and I'm always like forward thinking and this and that, which means like the inside of me is an infinity of anxiousness, an infinity of living in the future with moments of thinking about the past, and I'm never present in now. So like while the mom was telling you to like look at your hand, I was like, okay, I'm gonna look at my hand. I'm gonna feel my index finger, like
not your pinky.
Yeah, that's your pinky. So like I just think even if like you're like, what the fuck am I watching? I don't think you'd be able to stop. I think you'd have to keep going.
As surreal and as mature as it is, I do feel like this is necessary for humanity. Like this is necessary, needed viewing.
Yeah.
Like if I could get away with workshopping this with kids, I would.
I know, right?
If I could get away with it, I would. But
I'll tell you something right now, though. Like when I used to have poetry club at my school with students, I would, 90% of the conversations we had there were this show. And the surrealism, I guess, was provided by our own artistic expressions through poetry.
Right.
But then we would just have conversations about that. And they were all like this. They were all exactly like this, deep, non-judgmental, and, extremely personal. But we always came away from it refreshed. No matter how deep we went with, searching for meaningfulness, it always gave us more than it took.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Afterwards. And I think a lot of people miss that. I think people, like you're saying, right Aisha, you're worried about meditation because you're always thinking forward. But what we have to understand is things like meditation, though they have a stillness to them, if you will, if anything, they catapult you. They propel you.
Which is what they were saying, right?
Right. They absolutely, things like that, taking the time to be more conscious of our thinking. We are so afraid to look into the universe of our own minds. We do so much to avoid it, to numb ourselves and to just try to not look in the mirror for fear of what we might see looking back.
Yeah, it's true.
The more we do that on a mental, spiritual, emotional level, though it may seem like it's a stagnant exercise where we're not moving, though our body might be still, spiritually, emotionally, and intellectually, those are the types of things that actually absolutely propel, they light speed us towards a better world or a better existence.
Well,
I'm not a co-writer on the show. I just liked it.
Well, of course. I think we all loved it. I think in one word, yes or no, would you watch it again? Would you watch any of the episodes again?
Replay value is high. The whole thing. I'd have to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like a vinyl. I couldn't skip through it. I'd have to listen to watch the whole thing over and over again.
That's really interesting, friends. That's a
agree.
Really good
I would watch it again. I'm thinking of episodes now that I want to watch again and like listen more intently and more deeply and think about
more
it.
intentionally too.
Right. Yeah.
Perhaps now that we know what the fuck it is. Like I had no idea what the show was.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Replay value high. I've criticized some other Netflix shows, Ozark, for not having like really high replay value. But definitely this one, just for the visuals alone, would be high replay, but the conversations as well. And this may be an indirect advertisement from one podcast to another.
I know, right?
For Duncan Trussell's podcast. But where conversations like that are being held, where spaces are being created to have conversations like that, those are important.
Yeah.
We're talking about nerd shit here, really, but
they're going deep into the nerd shit.
you know, but at the end of the
references too, which was great.
tons. And but basically we started this because we were already sharing and exchanging information and energy about shit that we all had a common love for. We wanted to share that with other people.
Right.
That's why we started this. So it's like I get it, you know.
Right. So on that note, go watch it, check it out, let us know what you think. I think this is something we would talk about on your own, is like, are those people in the recording booth seeing these images? That was the big thing, because they would mention it sometimes and I'd be like, are you just watching weird shit happening on a screen and then you mention it so now the like animators are animating it?
Like the scene, I think is in episode 2. I think it's 2, where he's stuck to the antlers of the dog person.
Oh yeah, and then they have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. They're referencing what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Are you watching this happen?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know how they did it, but I don't care how they did it. It was just powerful.
It's amazing.
You know? Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna get into some few coming soon things. Oh, I realized one of these ones I didn't watch, but I think you guys did, so you can talk about it. The trailer that we recently saw, I think it just came out today. Da 5 Bloods. That's DA 5 Bloods. DA, the number 5, and then Bloods. And it's not a gang, or maybe it is. It's the new Spike Lee joint that's actually coming out. I don't know when it's coming out. I didn't say.
It comes out on June 12th, I think.
Oh, is it streaming?
Right to Netflix, yeah.
Oh, right. It was a Netflix movie. In which there's I guess it seems like there's a platoon that was in the Vietnam War that they were like, we're going to go back at this certain amount of time. We promised that we'd go back and like do something. I forget what it was.
Look for retrieve this trunk of gold.
Right, the trunk of gold. And they're like talking about this one soldier who was like the soldier of all time, who doesn't seem to be a part of the bunch. Like maybe he died.
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. It's actually what's his name?
Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman is like this soldier of all time. And so it's kind of, it looks like it's going in between time. It looks like they're in this time present, quote unquote. I don't know what present is, but
during Vietnam War.
No, the present time.
The present time. When they're going back to find the gold.
Yeah, when they're older.
Right, and then like in the past where they're actually in the war hiding the gold.
When they were in the shit. Yeah.
In the shit, in the thick of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It seems very interesting. It looks like not so much like it looks like a departure from a classic Spike Lee film, but again, it is also a trailer.
A Spike Lee joint.
Sorry.
How dare you?
Excuse me. A Spike Lee joint.
Well, it's written by 4 people, and Spike Lee's actually the last build on that 4.
Okay.
Okay.
One person who passed away, actually.
Oh.
Paul DeMeo. But then there's a couple other people. One of them, Wilmot, he was responsible for, he did Confederate States of America, which was that dope mockumentary about what that IFC was all over. But long story short, like this joint is looking dope. I was like, it's something different. It's not anything I've seen in a Spike Lee joint. And I was talking to somebody, may have been Will from Black No Problems, but he was like, there's a creative ambition here that I haven't seen in a Spike Lee movie in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, it looks dope.
I'll repeat what I said in pre-pro. Pre-pro. And maybe I get in trouble for this. I don't give a fuck. I'm seeing it, and I'm like, it's interesting for all the reasons that you guys just said. Mm-hmm. All the reasons you just said, friends. But I don't know, there's something about this cast that made me say, damn, I wish Tarantino was doing this. I felt what? Yeah.
Hell no.
The way that the trailer was cut, bro, it made me feel like I want Tarantino dialogue, like the dialogue from his last movie, you know, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood type dialogue. I want that dialogue, that level here. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
I guess what I'm saying is the film looks so different from a Spike Lee joint that I'm like, oh shit, it feels more like might have an edginess of a Tarantino joint.
But there's these dudes doing a Soul Tray line at an Apocalypse Now themed Budweiser sponsored event.
That happened?
In Vietnam, I was like, "Yo, this is OD." Okay,
maybe
that's some
that
Spike
was
Lee
the Tarantino moment. That
I was like, but I was like, that does sound to me like a Tarantino type moment. I was like, but the turn of the movie actually is that the homies they talk about Chadwick's character in the past, and they found this gold, and they wanted to bring it back to the States to fund Black Power initiatives, and that's the turn.
That's the Spike Lee of it all.
Yeah, is this based on a true thing? That's another thing I was asking.
It didn't say
that's
that.
the thing we don't know.
It didn't say that. And much like Saint Anne, was it Miracle at Saint Anne? Also, Spike Lee
that was Spike Lee. That's true. This is very Saint Anne. Miracle at Saint Anne.
I'm very Saint Anne.
Oh yeah, have you seen that one? It's Miracle at Saint Anne.
Yeah, but he's talking about his name.
Yeah.
I know. But
I know.
They can't see her smile that accompanied that though.
Yeah,
that's what hurts me the most.
For now,
all they
One
hear
day.
is I know.
Yeah.
But what they don't see is her fucking beautiful smile she cracked.
Because
she knows. Because she knows.
You can't be getting me talking about Midnight Gospel and then saying beautiful things. I'm just gonna cry. I'm crying right now.
It'll do it.
But yeah, I want to see it. I'm very interested. I hope it is different. I hope that like when you watch it, you're like, man, I'm so glad Spike Lee's still taking chances and taking risks. So
as long as all the soldiers aren't from fucking Brooklyn and Knicks fans, I'm in.
I'm sure that they are.
They had a crazy accent on Chadwick. Go ahead.
I forgot to say this about Capone.
Oh God.
Oh wow.
It's okay. I feel like it should have been that Drake song. They're like, who the fuck is y'all? He's like,
there's way too many people here. I did it all last year.
Right now, who the fuck is y'all? I'm doing man.
Gold Tommy.
Sorry, I had to say that before we moved into this.
That's the most parenthetical ass shit.
Yo. So
it should just be like underneath at the end when it ends. He's like, I'm doing me.
I mean, the music matches
with dancing crocodiles in the background.
I'll do me. With Tommy guns. Okay. On a higher note, Umbrella Academy season 2.
Way higher note.
Arguably the highest.
I didn't actually watch this. I realized I didn't watch it. But there was like this little teaser thing that came out. France, you said you watched it, right?
Yeah.
What happened?
It was what appeared to be genuine footage of the cast social distancing.
Yeah.
In character.
In character.
In
character.
Yes. Like number 2 is looking around. He's got like the little knife thing and he's thinking about throwing it at the he's like thinking about
stuffed sheep.
Throwing it at the stuffed sheep like I can hit it from here. I think
it was like a cocktail stirrer or something like that.
There was a lot of that. Your boy Rob
Klaus was basically pissing out episodes of Midnight Gospel because he was so fucking high.
I love him.
Vanya looked completely unamused by the rest of the world because she's Vanya. They were all in character pretty much, promoting that season 2 of Umbrella Academy will be hitting in July.
So cute.
I sent as soon as I saw that video, I sent it to Alexi. And later that day, she wrote back like in all caps, "Oh my God, I'm so happy," because she fucking loves Umbrella Academy.
When is it coming out?
In July.
In July.
Oh,
Netflix is coming up with they like, all right.
Netflix was like, we was ready. I don't know about y'all. We heard that shit happened in China, and we were like, get to filming.
You know what's funny is we people accused us of being Disney propagandists and MCU lovers early. Slowly, we've been shifting and falling in love with Netflix. You know what I heard? I heard a stat that was crazy. That Netflix, 50% of the internet traffic worldwide at any given moment, 15% is Netflix.
15?
15%. fucking
Wow, of the world?
percent of all internet traffic globally at any given time is just people watching something on fucking Netflix.
I mean,
They knew what they were doing.
So now
Ingenuity.
those 15%, they're watching some Avatar: The Last Airbender. Those 15%,
Yeah,
they're
we
watching.
started it again.
Yeah, they're watching all types of shit on there.
Episode 1 down.
I got up to on Avatar rewatching, trying to get stuff in while I'm doing work from home.
Yeah.
I got up to, I think I'm up to episode 10. I think
Wow.
I'm 10 or 11 of book 1 though.
That's what we're going to do tomorrow.
Aisha fell asleep. I made this episode
did
5
fall
of book
asleep.
1.
I first watched the social distance reunion episode of Too Hot to Handle. So,
I watched the on community the folks from Community. They just had other day, yesterday actually, the 18th. They had an episode where because today's the 19th, right? So shout out to Malcolm X, it's his birthday.
Facts.
They had they had a table read of the episode in which you guys probably remember this. It's the episode where they're at the will reading for Pierce.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great fucking episode. And they did a table read, and they had Pascal, the Mandalorian.
Pedro Pascal.
What?
They had Pedro Pascal sit in and do a reading of the Agent,
my
Agent Stone
God.
from that episode. It was great. Just listening to them read it and them having fun with it. That show was fucking brilliant. I will always be a fan of Community no matter what.
Of course.
But yeah, social distancing.
Very exciting stuff. There's so much more to come. I have been worried about 2021 since we aren't able to do anything in 2020, but apparently Netflix has our back. So
2020 is our filler episodes, man. Our filler season.
So thank you everyone for listening. It's been fun. We went through so many levels, low highs and lows, peaks and valleys. So thank you for sticking with us. Next time, I'm putting this out there. We're gonna talk about Stargirl because, like I said, it's actually good.
It's not bad.
It's good, and we should watch it.
That means Mike has to watch Stargirl.
Watch Stargirl and Justice League Dark Apocalypse, spelled
Apocalypse
with
War?
a K.
Apocalypse War. It was the business. It was the business. It was all
It was
right.
pretty good. I don't know what happens after that, but
I mean,
we're there.
it's been announced as the last DC animated movie, and I was like, "What do you mean the last?"
Which I don't understand.
Maybe by that studio, I'm tired of their art style.
Yeah,
be that.
maybe that's what it is.
I'm absolutely done with their art style. It's fucking anyway, whatever.
It's true. It's true. So catch us next time. Thank you for listening. As always, please like, subscribe, share, and shout out to those who have and are doing that. I think I am allowed to say this, that we have merged with Libsyn with some more exciting developments that we can announce at some point later. So check us out in some more places. I'll just say that.
Yeah, and stay tuned after the end of this episode for the audiobook version of New Mutants. That's our post-credit scene. It's the entire thing.
Where we do a drunk reading of the script.
The table. Oh, I would kill the shit out of that. I would.
Yeah,
murk
we'd have
that.
a blast.
I can play a Guthrie.
I'll be Sunspot.
I don't know who I'll be. I'll leave that up to you. You guys tell me what to do. I'll do it. I'll play all the additional voices.
What is my motivation?
Oh man.
All right, y'all.
Appreciate y'all listening. Thank you.
Thank you. And good night.
Stay
Mic drop.
safe.
Stay safe.
Word.
It might be daytime when they're listening. Actually.
Mic drop.